Hey guys, BugCat7 here. Okay, it is Wednesday, September 12th, 2018, and I want to thank you very much for visiting the Stonewall Research channel on YouTube. I want to thank my new subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Please do go through my videos if you're interested in the stone walls of New York and New England, because there's just some fascinating stuff in there. Okay, so tonight I'm at my local library doing a little bit of research on the Native American tribes of New York and Long Island, and I came across some very interesting little tidbits in some books I was reading. One of the books is called The Indians of Long Island, New York, and Coastal Connecticut by Ben Werner Jr. I think that was published sometime in the 60s. And the other one is The History of the New York Iroquois by Beauchamp. And I just found some fascinating things in there that I think you might be interested in. Let me read to you from the book, and you judge, you decide. Some young guys dropping off some books here, good readers, good for them. Okay, so let me read to you these little pieces of factoids that I found in this book. One of them is from Ben Werner's book, and this is an account by Verrazano. And Verrazano was one of the first guys to come here, so this is one of the first accounts of the Native Americans over here. So let me read to you from it. One of the first actual descriptions of the East Coast Indian is by Verrazano in the year 1524. Several Indians came aboard his ship at Narragansett Bay, and of them he said, "Among them were two kings, more beautiful in form and stature than can possibly be described. One was about 40 years old, the other about 24, and they were dressed in the following manner. The oldest had a deer skin around his body, artificially wrought in damask figures. His head was without covering. His hair was tied back in various knots, and around his neck he wore a large chain ornamented with many stones of different colors." Now, here's the really interesting part. Pay attention to this. "They exceed us in size, and they are of very fair complexion. Some of them incline more to a white, and others to a tawny color. Their faces are sharp, their hair long and black, upon the adorning of which they bestow great pains. Their eyes are black and sharp, their expression mild and pleasant." So, there you go. They exceed us in size, and they have a very fair complexion. Some of them incline more to a white. I find that very, very interesting that Verrazano gave this account to them. Large, exceeding them in size, okay, and of fair complexion. So you make it that what you will, okay, saying that they look like white people. Okay, that was Verrazano's account, okay? So I don't know, who's going to dismiss that, but, that was the account. And now I'm going to read to you from The History of the New York Iroquois by Beauchamp, and there's some very fascinating things in here. And, again, this goes back to, my hypothesis about the stone walls and the high level of organization. And one of the things, when you talk about a high level of organization, you got to think about, the language, the culture, all this kind of stuff. So let me read to you from this a little bit. This is about the Iroquois. Mr. Horatio Hale, the eminent Canadian philologist, said, "A complete grammar of this speech, as full and minute as the best Sanskrit or Greek grammars, would probably equal and perhaps surpass those grammars in extent. The unconscious forces of memory and of discrimination required to maintain this complicated machine and to preserve it constantly exact in good working order must be prodigious." Mr. Hale also said, "Philologists are well aware that there is nothing in the language of American Indians to favor the conjecture, for it is nothing else, which derives the race from Eastern Asia. But in Western Europe, one community is known to exist, speaking a language which in its general structure manifests a near likeness to the Indian tongue. Alone of all the races of the old continent, The Basques or Euskarians of northern Spain and southwestern France have a speech of that highly complex and polysynthetic character which distinguishes the American languages. Okay? So, he's a philologist from Canada, associate, making a connection, making, the similarity between the Basque language, which, look up your history on the Basque, my friends, because they are very interesting people. And here is a guy, a philologist, who's saying, how complex the language is and how similar it is in many ways to the Basque language. Okay, so guys, look, these are very interesting little tidbits that, you can only get if you decide to do some research at the library. Probably not going to hear it anywhere else, but I want you guys to think about that. Think about the accounts by Verrazano of them being extremely tall and a fair complexion, and how the language is very complex, as complex as the Basque languages in Spain. So those are some very interesting things, and I'd like you guys to think about those things when you're thinking about this whole thing overall. It's, just studying this whole subject is very complex. It's not something you can put together in a couple of videos or whatever it is. So, these are all things that are related, that you have to think about in the context of the Stonewall. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to read to you those couple of little snippets that I got out of these great books. They're a little bit older books, as you notice, not coming out of contemporary books, but some little bit older stuff. But, look, that's fine, All right, guys. So anyway, Budcat7 signing out, and I'll be doing a video real soon. Thank you very much, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye now.